Well, it's been years since former NBA player Lamar Odom and reality TV star Khloe Kardashian split. Nonetheless, Lamar can't get her out of his mind. Entertainment reporter Christal Jordan from Rolling Out magazine joins us now with details. Good morning, Christal. I really feel for Lamar. He's opening up about how he feels about his ex-wife and some reports, and you actually had the chance to speak directly with him, right?
I did. I had a chance to sit down with him last month and talk to him. The interesting thing was he would not talk about his recent ex, but he was very open about his feelings for Khloe Kardashian. He actually called her his soulmate. He talked at length about how she really nursed him back to health. Actually put her own feelings to the side because he had made some mistakes in their relationship when he became ill, and nursed him back to health. I mean, it was really touching to hear him talk about that. I also asked him who he missed the most out of the family, because he speaks very warmly about the entire Kardashian family, says they're very close. But he said that he missed Kris Jenner the most. He said that she was like a mother figure to him and is very nurturing, which is interesting because we don't really get to hear a lot about her nurturing side. We hear about her being this shrewd businesswoman, but he had a very different account of just his experience with the entire family.
Wow, he really missed his mother-in-law. That's interesting. And they had a whirlwind relationship, Lamar and Khloe. How long did they date before they actually married and then divorced?
Well, they actually dated for about 30 days, and he was in another relationship. I asked him, did he regret the way he, left his former relationship and jumped into the relationship with Khloe? And he said, absolutely not. He said that there was just something very special about their chemistry, and he knew that she was the one. He doesn't have any regrets about that. Their actual relationship went on, but because he was dealing with drug addiction and different things like that, I think the actual, the good part of the marriage was a lot shorter than the public realized. But like I said, she actually put everything, she filed for divorce, and then when he became sick, he had a stroke, went into the hospital. She actually, put the divorce to the side, put the divorce on hold to go and nurse him back to health. And then once he was healthy and she knew he would be fine, she, went ahead and filed for divorce. So he knows that she's in another relationship. He talked really, warmly about that. He said, I hope that she's happy, but she was my true soulmate and that one true love of my life.
Well, what does he say about the possibility of even having a platonic relationship with Khloe?
Well, he was very hopeful. He understood why she may not be open to that, but he did say that he hopes that he would be able to be friends with her and, like I said, even with the rest of the Kardashians. And I believe time heals all wounds. So, I'm sure she's heard his remarks, and they obviously had something very special. So I'm sure they'll be able to, reconcile and at least be friends, in the future.
Yeah. Well, we watched how he had to struggle with his demons, so really wish him well too, and hopefully one day he'll be able to have a good relationship with Khloe. Christal, thank you.
Absolutely. He's an ATL resident now, so we can say Lamar is actually here, and he lives here in Atlanta now. So.
Oh, wow. Well, love going out to you, Lamar. Love going out to you from the ATL. Christal, thank you. And folks at home, you can keep up with Christal on Instagram at EnchantedPR.